So today's call, let me go ahead and share my screen here, is a all about customer success manager. And uh, you need one, the why, what, and when. So, quick intro about myself. I'm the founder of Design Source Media and DSM Talent. I've been running my web agency for over 13 years now. DSM Talent's fairly new. It's our staffing agency. We find talent from the Philippines and help agency owners find talent and build their team. And I currently manage a team of 14. I'm a husband, father of three kids, soon to be four, actually, in June. So I know I'm crazy, all the kids. So hence why I need a team. Uh, so what is a customer success manager? Love to hear your definition. I guess, have you heard of it, right? Feel free if you don't want to share over audio, type it out. Okay. Uh, if Do you know what a CSM is? Have you ever heard of a CSM? If you do, what is a CSM? A customer success manager.
Almost like an account manager, like a client liaison.
Okay.
Sorry,
So
Reed, you're getting that.
Alicia said client manager, a liaison, account manager, a liaison. Okay, thank you. Reed.
So we have one for our franchise system, and it's just somebody who makes sure that the customers are, you know, happy with what they're paying for essentially, and that
Hmm.
they're getting success from the results.
Yep, yep. Love it. Uh, Anyone else? Chloe, Tyler, what do you think? And TNS? This is basically my definition. You got the CSMs act as a bridge between your agency and the client. And so the CSM's right in the middle, right? You got your client on one side and the agency on the other. So let's dig a little deeper, okay? What what are the goals of a CSM, right? There's actually quite a few. And Alicia, Reed, you touched on these points, some of these points. So we'll start from the top. Drive customer satisfaction and retention, right? You want to make sure the customers are happy, they don't leave, right? They stay in the organization or stay with you, stay with your agency. Understand and support your customer goals, right? It's a customer success, right? They're really focused on the success of the client and what their goals are and how that CSM can help the client achieve those goals. And sometimes it goes beyond. This is what our CSMs do. It goes beyond what our services and products offers. So it might be a client of ours might need like, hey, we need someone that can do a video for us. Well, internally, we don't do videos, right? Yes, we have a video editor, but we don't offer that as a service. We would refer another video agency to help our client. Like, hey, oh, you should talk to so and so. They're also in hospitality, right? Talk to Alicia, right? So our CSMs would do that um, because ultimately it's helping the customer. Um, Increase product adoption, like really understanding like the service and offers that that we maybe sold them a website or a monthly program, a social media package, right? So just an example for other marketing agencies here. Um, but really, how do they fully utilize that product or service? Reducing churn, people leaving, right? Like you want to look at your data. Like, oh yeah, every time we bring on, let's say, three clients a month, but we're losing two of them. Why are we losing two of them? Right? And so our CSM's looking at that data and seeing why that's happening. Upsell and cross-sell opportunities. CSMs are listening. They're like, oh yeah, I know we started on this particular project, but I think if we add this, and this to it, it would really add to help you in your goals, right? So that's an upsell. A cross sell might be like, oh, if you include this makes a lot of sense too. Customer advocate. So Our CSMs, so for our web agency, when we're working on projects, our CSMs, when they're talking to the client and they're struggling with certain things, like, oh man, I really wish I knew how to add this blog article, something super simple. And so it's for us, it's as simple as, oh yeah, you just do a create a sports ticket, and our CST, customer success team will follow up with you and help you with that. But they would take a step further and say, okay, no problem. I will submit a ticket for you. And I'll let our support team know to reach out and show you how to log into your site and create that blog article, right? We'll even send you a video. So just really being an advocate for that customer, because the client doesn't know how to interact with our team, our whole company, every single department in our organization, right? That's not their job, right? So our CSM understands which resource to pull to help, again, going back to the customer goals. The next part is promote customer advocacy. So we want to create a lot of wins. We have amazing customers, like for example, things. We didn't ask Philip, in the wins area for our agency U, right? Like, yeah, because of our team, we help them generate $5,500 a month in additional revenue, or win this additional client. So with these things, our CSM is constantly asking for feedback and also asking for testimonials and case studies to see, like, how are we performing? And if we're performing well, can you give us a testimonial or a case study? So that way it will help us not only in our marketing, but in our systems, in our processes, and our SOPs, right? We're always improving our systems. And align with internal teams of, like, for example, certain projects. So this is kind of partially like a project management role too. Um, Projects that they're taking on, um, they're understanding from the clients, and converting that into, okay, this is what we need from our design team, our development team, our other technical resources. And then another piece of what our CSM does is building strong relationships, right? So constantly we follow up our CSMs follow up once a month, sometimes every week, depending on how active the client is too, and how many projects we're working on. If any active projects, they're following up and providing an update every single Friday to all of our customers on the status of their project. And then finally, they're measuring. They're measuring the KPIs, measuring metrics. So all in all, that's what a CSM does. So what does everyone think? Is this what your current CSM, if you have one, is that what your current CSM does? If you don't, are you doing it right now? And are you doing all 10 of these things?
Yeah, so we don't have, for example, this one, CS. But I think that I feel like I'm doing everything myself right now. Because like
Yeah.
when you're going to sales call and then onboarding clients and everything, I feel that you hear what they need and then you can, help them with that.
Yeah. Okay. So you're you're basically doing this, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what else? Are you doing anything else?
Then you align with internal teams,
Okay, yep. That's
uh,
very common. Yep.
upsell and cross-sell
Yep.
opportunities.
Very good. I hope you're doing that. Right? You're the business owner, right?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, you
Uh,
have to, right? What else?
Increase product adoption? What do you mean by that?
So basically, if if you're if you're selling, let's say, oh, okay. So tell me a little bit more about your agency, so I can give you a more relevant example. What
Okay.
do you offer? What's your offer?
So we are offering for product brands like hassle-free service, which means that we are kind of remote studio. So we are sending their products and we are taking and creating content for them. So either it's like mentor campaign or it's for socials.
Okay, so you're creating content, right? So you're for social media, long form, short form.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So think of it this way, right? And do you sell packages or do you sell custom package solutions?
Custom package solution.
Custom. Okay. So it doesn't matter either way, actually. So you sell them a custom package, right? And is it 3 month term, 6 months, 12 months, or month to month, or a la carte?
Like it's a mix of everything, I guess. Right.
Okay, mix of everything. Okay,
Here,
so
here.
you like to play in hard mode, okay?
Uh, yeah, 24/7. Yeah.
Right? This is hard mode.
Yeah.
So now if it's that hard, it's all custom. It's some a la carte, some some that are in retainer, some multiple months, right? You expect your customer to fully understand and adopt what they just purchased. If you sold them, let's say on January 1st, you sold them this package, right? In March, in June of this year, and they're still part your customer, you they have fully understand and fully utilize and got the most value and benefit from your product. That's part of product adoption. And when a customer does that, that they've fully gotten the value and they see extreme value, right, from your offering, right, they're getting results. That is when you get um, a customer that will be your cheerleader, right? That will be your advocate, that will refer you. But until then, if they don't like if someone like 6 months from now, someone ran to their customer and said, "Oh yeah, who does your content marketing? Oh yeah, TNS does." Okay. Um, what's their offer? And they can't
Mhm.
answer that, you're in trouble, right?
Okay.
That means they can't refer you, right? So they have to adopt your product. They have to really understand, like, oh yeah, TNS does X number of long form or short form, or they're producing X number of results. They've gotten me 30 leads in the past month, and of those 30 leads, I've gotten 2 sales from TNS. So they can all tie that into results, but also deliverables. And then they know like how they can reach out to your company, to your agency, or to you for support and for other things. So that's again part of product adoption. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then, so that's part of, that will increase customer satisfaction. Anyone else? What else um, are you currently doing, or not doing in your agency?
So I can continue then if no one
Okay.
else is
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah. Please continue.
Yeah, so if I'm looking from the first one, so we also like drive customer satisfaction and retention.
Okay. And how do you do that?
So we take special care, I would say, of our clients, and we like to see that we are working like for the long term, not for the short, like not for one project, but for the long term. So either it's a retainer or, like monthly retainer or but I don't know, like quarterly or etc.
Okay. So you do a monthly
Um,
meeting, a monthly or
Yeah,
report?
yeah. We
Okay.
also like trying to get answer their emails like within 24 hours from their
Okay. Okay.
team.
So fast response time, fast turnaround time. Okay, very good. That increases. Do you know what NPS is?
And no.
So NPS stands for Net Promoter Score,
Mm.
right? That's something that we try to get from our customers. Like it's a simple question. From 1 to 10, how would you rate us? Right? 10 being like from actually
Mm.
really from 8 to 10, they're an advocate, right? They will instantly refer us, right? Anything set like below that, they're like, okay, I'll use your service. And then anything below, let's say a 5, it's like garbage, right? You don't want that. We don't want that. And we need to fix it immediately, right? And then TNS. Actually, what is your name? I'm guessing your name is not TNS.
My name is Red. Yeah, and
Oh,
Lucas is
Red.
nearby. So yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
our camera's not working today, so yeah.
Oh, no worries, no worries. So you want to continue? Anything else?
Yeah, so building strong relationships. So I guess like, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty typical. All right. Expected, right? Agency owner, right? You should be really, really good at building relationships, right? Because you won't survive if you don't, right?
Yeah, that's true. And overall, I guess it depends from people character as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if I am speaking with women in the sales call, for example, or just like in a monthly meeting, we are more emotional than men. This is what I kind of noticed, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, thank you for sharing. And then, anything else before for
I guess I kind of have a question, and I
yes.
just read what Chloe said in the chat, and it's kind of like along those same lines. So my
Yeah.
client is a personal injury attorney, and he's just like very dry. And I give him 6 reels a month, and he basically just wants to explain why you should see a doctor after a car accident in every single video, and just look straight at the camera and read a script and like not really do anything that creative. And I always try to push him. I'm like, you need to be funny, you need to smile. And he's like, no, no, it's unprofessional. I wanna just do it this way. And so it's like I'm trying to keep him happy doing what he wants to do, but then doing what he wants to do also isn't bringing results because like nobody cares about the stuff he wants to preach. So how do I
Yeah.
kind of walk that fine line of like keeping him happy with the like stuff he wants to do, but also like trying to get results somehow. You know what I mean? And like, if he says
Okay.
to me, I'm just waiting for this conversation, like, well, why haven't I gotten any followers? And I'm like,
Oh
well,
man, I love this one. I
no
love
one
this
wants
one.
to follow you because they already know they need to wear a seatbelt. Like, I don't know what else I can tell you.
Okay. So we're gonna use his expertise against them. Okay. So he's a personal injury attorney, right?
Yeah.
So this is perfect because as a personal client attorney, attorneys in general, they are essentially um, consultants and professionals in their field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And professional services. So at the same time, if they were meeting with a client and they come to him and said, "Hey, I have a personal injury case. I need your help." And then you tell him, "Okay, I see the information. We need to go to court, right? Or we need to do this." But your client says, "No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to do that." Can you do your job? Can you win?
Yeah.
Can you win the case for your client? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing is said. So also let them know like yes. So I think there's. I mean, I don't advocate for like pushing, stuff down someone's throat. That applies to both the client and to our own team members, and talent. So something to consider is that they first have to understand, and so it's part of your own like selling and positioning. So sell and show them examples of, hey, look at all these other injury attorneys. Look at all their attorneys. I mean, for example, like Legal Eagle is a really huge one. He's not like, but he's an attorney, but he's really huge in the YouTube space. So just show them some videos, some content. Like here's some different examples of what I've seen content wise that has been extremely, extremely successful. But also, let's look at what is your end goal? What is your strategy, right? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to get more well known? Are you trying to get more sales? Or what is it? And if that's the case, then I think this is the best approach. But are you willing to do that? And also understanding your personality. And sometimes they may not be the best person to be in the talking head video. Like maybe they should hire someone else in their firm, on their team, or someone else totally like an actor, an actress to cover for them to do that type of work to produce the results that they want. And and so over time, you as the professional, you have the confidence and results to prove that. So at the end of the day, you have you have you have to let him know or her know that they're paying you to produce results. And if you just want that, if they just want you to be an order taker, then you're not the right person. Okay. And I would straight up say, you're paying to me too much to be an order taker. Okay.
Yeah, and I've been so close to firing him so many times, but
Right.
he's my
Yeah.
only source of income right now, so I
I
just can't
know. So
afford
that's
to
the
do that.
difficult part, right?
Yeah.
So, so in the beginning, right? And I've been through this, right? I've been doing this for 13 plus years now. In the beginning, it sucks, right? It's about survival as an agency owner, right? Survival. Um, and really finding yourself, right? Finding the agency, what fits, what works, what doesn't, and where your market, finding your market. But you want to get to that point as soon as possible. So double your efforts in marketing and sales, and that way these conversations will go much easier because you right now you have no leverage,
Right.
right? You have no leverage. He has all the leverage. So, but at the same time, I'm not looking for you to like try to like force people or compete with your own clients, but really hold, you know, hold in higher standard of what you're paid for to do, right? You're not an order taker. Okay.
Yeah, and then my biggest fear is like, let's say one day he's like, you know what? Okay, I'll do whatever you want. I'll listen to you. And then it's like, what if we do all that stuff that I think we should do, and then it performs even worse than the stuff he wants to do? Because then I'm like,
Well,
okay, well, I don't know
well, such is life. Right?
then.
We're in marketing, right? Marketing and sales. If anyone here, right, can produce um results 100% of the time, then it's like buying a lottery ticket and winning every time, right? That's not realistic.
True.
So in general, it's about in a business and in entrepreneurship, it's about increasing your odds, right? We don't want to like go into a casino and play like roulette or blackjack, right? Your odds are always less than 50%. So, but the benefit as a business owner is that you can find ways to constantly increase that odds as close to 100% as possible. So over time, over the years, you have like a CSM, right, to follow up and and consistently, you have an executive assistant, you have a team to help support you. But right now, if you don't have that help, you're doing it all yourself and you're figuring out the system and you should immediately maintain it and build on that. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. That's helpful. And I like the lottery analogy because it's kind of like what I did with him in the last couple of months. We tried some stuff and like a couple posts only got 3 likes, and those were my 3 accounts
Mhm.
liking them. So I was really embarrassed to tell him that. But then I said, look, we tried this for a couple of months. It continuously wasn't working. So now we know not
Mhm.
to do that. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
at least we can
exactly.
cross it off.
Exactly. We're always upfront with our clients if we're looking to produce results. And especially when it comes to like social content or search engine optimization, SEO, or even running ads. Um, there's a learning period, right, for anyone. So, but it's all about setting that expectation up front and then providing metrics and data, which is, right here, right, measuring that and being able to communicate that. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and then I want to touch on Chloe's message. Like one of the hardest things from a business is measuring KPIs. Yeah, for social media marketing. The biggest downfall of a business is feeling like we're always walking a fine line with keeping our clients because we can't prove that we're bringing in ROI. And we have recently launched the authority funnel, and we're hoping that it can help tracking, but we haven't seen the positive impact of that yet. So, to answer Chloe's question, I would say one of the things is to own the whole process, own the marketing and sales process of your client. I know. I like you take it as, so because I've over the years, I've seen plenty of agencies, even if they're successful in marketing and they're driving a ton of leads, okay, crap ton of leads, and then they still end up getting fired and or let go or terminated, and then they're like, and then I ask them why, why did your client leave you? You're sending them all these leads. You know what the answer is? Um, well, it's because they're not following up with those leads. They're not closing those leads. So it doesn't matter if I send them the leads. And then at the end of the day, they say, "Oh yeah, well, we have these leads, but we can't do anything about it." And there's always an excuse and reason, right? So in the very beginning, even finding the right customers is important because if they don't have the system in place to be able to handle your engine, right? Your lead engine, then they're gonna blow up or implode internally. So asking these type of questions, do you have the system in place? And if you don't, we have now you can either the hard part is you building it for them, but you could work with other agencies. So for example, if you're in marketing, you work with a sales agency. So you work with an agency that would find or build or help with closing sales for them, right? Or you control the whole marketing process and the lead funnel process. So you can implement like Go High Level as their base. If they don't have a marketing system, like implement Go High Level into their CRM and lead funnel. So that way you're tracking for them and delivering like, hey, this is your ad spend, this is what's happening, and this is what your conversion is. Okay. If if you don't want to do that, then find customers that already have that in place. So you're working with, let's say, a chief marketing officer, they already have a marketing team, and they're hiring specifically for you to do content creation. But these are the companies that already measure that. And so you can focus just on content creation. So it's like two different markets, right? Either the small market, they don't have that support and you have to provide that and to control the whole system. And that way you will be basically priceless to them, like super valuable to them, right? Or the other option is they already have these systems in place, you are one of the components that help make their engine run smoother or faster. So we don't typically have service-based clients who are trying to book calls or close sales technically. Some of our clients are a dairy company, a coconut water company, helicopter tour company, and hardware store. I don't know if this makes a difference. It's service-based or product-based. These are all like, well, technically helicopter tour is a service-based, but so yeah, but they're products. So you're still selling on, you can sell on results, right? The number of book calls and close sales. And you basically tie your marketing efforts to that. That's how I would do it.
Hey, Dave, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't, hopefully it doesn't derail your presentation
No, no,
too
no, it's
much.
all good. Yeah.
Um, so I'm looking at hiring like kind of my first payroll employee. I've just been subcontracting up to this point.
Okay.
And I'm wondering what your recommendation or like what's the easiest way to keep track of their time on like a time clock? Because obviously as your team grows, you need something more professional and robust. But is there something that's cheap or free for very small teams that you know
Mm,
of?
okay. Um, so what project management software do you use?
Sorry, say that again.
What project management software do you currently use? Do you use
Uh,
Notion? Do you
it's
use
Notion, yeah.
ClickUp? Okay. So cheapest and easiest way, just use Notion. Okay. There's other like time tracking apps that you can use. So uh, I would ask who's the Notion expert, right?
Julius.
Um, Yeah, Julius. Ask Julius if there is a tool, a plugin, an integration, like a browser plugin for a time tracker to tie into Notion. There may be, right? That would be, I would say, the most easy and straightforward way to enter in time tracking to track all of the tasks and the work that's being done, in your scenario.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, so the reason why going back to this slide here, the CSM goals, I circle the ones where these are primarily the main points that an agency owner would do. Okay, but here's the thing though, what about the rest, right? The rest here, right? Um, it we'll do it when we need to, right? That's a common one. Or like, oh, we'll do it when it comes up, but it's not consistent, right? And that's why having a CSM there is for that consistency, right? To do all these things at once. So responsibilities of a CSM, client communication. So they're managing project timelines and updates, doing monthly check-ins, um, a client onboarding. So our CSMs would do all the welcome calls, really setting expectations, kind of what we did earlier. What we discussed earlier, just really setting expectations. This is what we'll be delivering. If you're in the marketing space, like don't expect immediate results. It's rare to get like instant leads. It takes time, even for like if you're running ads for Facebook, it takes them a couple of days to really understand and learn about your audience. So you have to give it time, and then setting and then basically doing that kickoff meeting. Project management, right? I have three CSMs, and each of our CSMs are responsible. Also, it's split up into different departments. So we have one CSM that covers our design department, another CSM that handles our development department and also ongoing support. So that way, they're also leading each of the departments for us. And they're ensuring timely delivery while balancing the client and team needs. So they're constantly in the project management system, looking at timelines, milestones. They're communicating that to our clients, providing them weekly updates, and also holding our clients responsible. Like, hey, we need these files, we need this approval, we need this logo or this information from you in order for us to do this work, right? In order for this project to move on. And if they don't meet those timelines, our CSM would give them a new timeline. Like, hey, because we weren't able to get this information, here's your updated timeline. This is your new launch date, right? So there's not a surprise. The client can't come back to us. It's like, oh yeah, well, how come we didn't launch the site 3 weeks, a week ago? Well, there's a whole set of emails that we explained we needed this from you, and that's why the delay. But we don't get those questions anymore. Our CSMs also do sales. So I depending on the type of sales call. So for me, I still like to do the initial call, but my initial call is more of a consulting call, really understanding like if they're a good fit and if we're able to help them, and then providing some consultation, some direction. And if they want to move forward, then depending on the service, our CSM may take over, or they sign up for a service, and then our CSMs will help with the onboarding. For our current customers that are repeat customers, our CSMs handle that pretty much 100% of the time. They already have the relationship with our client, and they're coming to our CSM and say, "Hey, we have a second web project." Or we have another talent we need to hire. We need to hire a second video editor or another social media manager. I say, okay, cool. Our CSM will take it from there. So I don't need to jump in. And then also they will put together the proposals, and they will send it out and follow up, if the client or prospect has any questions. So Reed, you asked do we use any CSM software? Our CSM software is our project management software. We use Smart Suite. It's kind of like Airtable. And we pretty much our whole operations. It's our HR software. It's our CSM, our project management software. So that's what our CSM uses. But our CSMs uses more than that though. And not just Smart Suite. They're of course using email. They're using Go High Level. They're using the phone system in Go High Level. They're able to make phone calls, text messages, jump on Zoom. So there's a bunch of other tools that our CSM uses. Of course, Slack too. Some of our bigger agencies, clients that we work with, we have a separate Slack channel, and our CSMs would run those, manage those workspaces and Slack channels with our clients. So that's another thing that our CSMs would do regarding software. Um, and then ongoing support. So our CSMs follow up with our clients monthly, monitor and resolve client complaints and escalations, and post-project care. So our monthly check-ins, it's a simple monthly email. That way we're always top of mind for our clients. And it's a quick 15-minute, and we address, and usually those calls, um, their opportunity for our clients to kind of talk about like, oh yeah, by the way, I didn't get a chance to submit this ticket, but can you help me with this? Absolutely, we can, right? And then finally near the end of the call, like, hey, how's our service? Is there anything we can improve on? And that feedback, our CSM then converts into actual tasks and systems and improvements in our processes and SOPs. See, so our CSMs are constantly improving our departments. Um, any complaints, right? Like before I have this larger team, all complaints, all issues, fires, it would go directly to me, right? And I still get PTSD, from this, like the dreaded Dave, we need to talk. Has anyone received one of those before? Like from a client, like, hey, we need to talk. There's an issue, right? Like, oh my God, right? I knock on wood, right? I don't get those anymore. Um, and even our CSMs, we don't get that as much. It's because of the systems we've been building. But also, if we do get those things, our CSMs are immediately addressing that already and improving that and avoiding that from happening in the future. And post-project care, it's just following up with let's say after a website launch, following up, how was the launch? How's it been? And if we're working, let's say with a marketing agency and they referred us the client, our CSM would notify our marketing partner and say, hey, by the way, website's getting ready to launch or website's already been launched. Now it's a great time to talk to our end client to talk about running that social media campaign, running the SEO work now, running those ads. So our CSM works with our partners that are referring us, web work. So that's kind of another thing that our CSM's doing. Now, another question I get asked is,
I have a
oh yeah,
question.
yeah, sorry.
You sort of mentioned it, but if the CSM notices something like there's a problem or just maybe something that could be better, do you have a system for implementing that across the company? I guess it could just be, they notify the CEO, but it seems like it would be such a self-improving company if like every time a CSM had an insight, right, it could then get
Mm-hmm.
integrated back into the company. Do you have a protocol for that, or is it just DMing someone?
We do. It's not so much a protocol, but it's like our culture. Okay. And how our team is trained. So few things, our CSMs run morning calls. Okay. And they're essentially like huddles or sprints. And during that time, our CSMs, but we also try to alternate who's leading those calls too. But our CSMs is there to talk about, okay, let's say it's this Project X. And Project X, this is where we're at, but we notice some bottlenecks, right? So it's not the CSMs just that's coming up with solutions, but they're starting the conversation. So it's the person that's closest to the problem is the best person to solve that problem. So they're talking to the technicians, the technical staff, right, about that, and like, oh yeah, if we want to launch the site faster, we should we this is the information we need. Oh, great. So if that's the case for project Y in the future, because X has already been launched, the website has already been launched, website Y, we will start collecting this information. So then immediately our CSMs will know, okay, well, what do we need to do? In order to do that, let's create a form in this case to collect the information or improve our collection process. So that way our launch team, our dev team has all the information they need. So it is essentially like self-healing. Our team members are trained and built that way. So, but at the same time, it starts with you. It starts with like the owner, right? If you're the type of person that's all about control, then and all about like, hey, everything has to go through you and you can't let it go, then you won't get to this point ever. That's the problem, right? So you have to let it go, to a certain extent, and let some bit of failure happen under control, right? And so it's like training firefighters, right? You don't go into a real burning building, you go into a controlled environment with real fire, and then you run drills. So that's another scenario that you do a lot of. And over time, your team will understand what to do in different scenarios. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, and I think those meetings sound like super like a good system as well.
But it helps if you build an outline of every time there's an issue, I bring the team together, at least the leadership team, if not necessarily every single person, but if you're a smaller agency, you can bring everyone in and go through a debrief. Like, hey, the point of the debrief is the point is not to blame anyone, is to figure out what happened, right? And how can we avoid this from happening in the future? And you do this 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, eventually it will click and your team will start doing it themselves. Okay. Great question, Eric. Difference between CSM and project manager. That's another big question I get asked, right? What was a big difference, right? They sound very similar. Well, a CSM focuses on client relations and success and advocates for the client's overall goals. The project manager is focused on managing tasks and timelines for specific projects, ensure smooth completion of defined deliverables. And so another thing to look at is a a agency may if they're working on really complicated and huge projects, they might have both. They might have a CSM and a project manager because the project manager is working on like the really complex, let's say, marketing campaign. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of vendors and internal teams and external teams and clients to interact with and collect, and that takes over a lot of the time of a project manager. Whereas the CSM's looking at it from okay, are we constantly in alignment with with what the customer is looking for. Okay, so for some huge projects, you might need both. If you're more focused on large custom projects, you probably need a project manager more so. Okay. But if you have a productized offer and you're going more on volume and there's a small bit of project management, then your CSM is a better route to go. So for most agencies, going through, let's say, the agency you program, you're better off with a CSM, when is the right time. Next question would be when, right? When should I hire a CSM? So that's another common question I get. So these are I guess the key points, signs. Agency is growing and you're overwhelmed with client communication. You want to reduce churn, right? You're losing customers. and you want to improve your long-term client satisfaction, right? There's more complaints, there's issues. Usually it's because of like you're spending too much time, but you have no choice, right? You're spending a lot of time on marketing and sales. You need to get new customers, or else your business feels like it's going to run out of cash. But at the same time, you're losing customers. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? And that is a really tough situation to be in, and I don't want anyone to be in that situation. So it's always good to prepare and plan for for the next milestone for an agency. And then you need to focus. You need more time to focus on strategy and scaling, right? You're not scaling your business. You're stuck. So that's where you really need a CSM to kind of delegate and take over all those other items. So the hiring order, I would not hire a CSM on the get-go. If you're running an agency by yourself, a CSM would not be the first hire I would do. The first hire I would do would be an EA to organize your own tasks and your workflow to get more of your time back. And then number two, start and then hire two technical staff. Whatever your main offer is, if it's social content, um, social media management, then social media managers. If it's content creation, like video content, then two video editors, right? Why two? Um, because if you hire one and they get sick, hit by a bus, go on vacation, guess what? The work's back on you. And when it's back on you, you're not doing marketing, you're not doing sales, you're not growing your agency, right? So you want to get to the point of hiring two as quickly as possible, within budget. And then finally, you add the CSM because now you have your EA, your systems are running, you have a technical team, and now your CSM's taking the client management, the day-to-day, the week-to-week client management off your plate. So now you're focused more on marketing, even more so. So right? Where do you find your CSMs? Oh, question, Chloe. What if you don't have an EA, but you have two technical staff? Would you recommend still getting an EA before a CSM? Yes, I do. I do recommend that because even though you have two technical staff, that's great. Your EA will help you with, I've done other training sessions on this, but really like you shouldn't be checking your emails constantly. You shouldn't be managing your calendar constantly. Getting your meeting notes ready and prepared, putting together detailed SOPs, right? All those things, doing research. All those things should be delegated over to an EA. So have that EA, and who knows, that EA may be your future CSM, which is a good segue to where do you find your CSM? Huh, look, internal promotion. That's the first thing I would do, right? I would prefer train and develop existing team members, so your EA or technical staff, to step into the CSM role. Because guess what? They already know your customers. They already know you. They already know your company culture. And they've started building a relationship with your clients. It's a natural transition, right? A natural promotion for them to go into the CSM role. So internal promotion. So, Tyler, see, I know you specialize in getting offshore talent. I'm currently at 8 employees and getting ready to hire for another video editor. I have two in-house, but want to hire talent from the Philippines. What's the cost per hour project for Philippines? Okay, video editor. So typically, so we don't go by hour because we're placing full-time hires with benefits. And so with benefits, with their base salary and even our fees, they're typically between 1450 for like associate level, and then all the way upwards to like 2200 to like they've been working in the industry for 10 plus years. They've done work for like Coca-Cola, huge Fortune 100 brands, right? So it depends on the type of video editor that you're looking for, but typically between 1450 to like $2,200 a month. So if I were to convert that to hourly, so 1450 divided by 160, that's $9 an hour on the low end. And then 2,200 and $14 an hour on the high end, right? Like, good luck trying to find onshore, talent at that rate, right? It's not possible.
That's awesome info. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Another way to find talent is like, you can go to job boards. So for the Philippines, there's onlinejobs.ph. There's other, Facebook groups you can go. And then you can also use our services. So benefits, a bunch. So our benefits is essentially like if you were to hire directly, a difference between a W-2 hire employee to a 1099 hire. So everyone that we bring on for our agencies and for ourselves, they're all considered like W-2 equivalent. So what does that mean? Half their taxes are being paid. They have health insurance. There's this thing called a 13-month pay. There is this housing benefit that they get. There's severance or separation pay. So to convert like benefits to, and there's vacation time, there's sick leave, all that is tracked, right? So they're essentially an employee with additional benefits. But but what's the positive outcome from a talent or an employee perspective, right? Our team members, our talents have said to us, because of the opportunities that you've given me because of working here, I'm able to buy my first house. I'm able to buy my first car for my family. Um, when I was sick or my child was sick, I didn't have to worry about paying. We can go to the hospital and it was all covered because we actually offer additional benefits that's not that one standard benefit is a discount to their hospitalization and doctor visits, but then we offer essentially like a HMO card, which covers the rest, so they don't have to pay um, really anything for the medical expenses, or there's a much higher cap. So those things, when an individual doesn't have to worry about that and they know they're taken care of, they don't have to worry about, health issues, or they don't have to worry about, like, oh, finding a place to live for their family, then they can do their best work, right? They can be creative, right? And so that's kind of like how how our philosophy is, and the type of benefits that we offer. Traits. So the other thing is like, oh, how do I know if I have a good CSM, right? Or what does this good CSM look like? Well, I find candidates excel in communication and problem solving, right? They're constantly trying to solve problems for clients, for internal, um, and then individuals, right? With client that are client-facing experience and have a proactive mindset, right? Those are some of the traits that make a great CSM. So a question from Eric. I'm guessing this is for the Philippines. Yep. Is it easier to offer those things in the Philippines? I'm hiring Brazilians, and I suspect the cost of benefits will be higher. Any other countries that are good for hiring? So, okay. So first question, yes, it's in the Philippines. Is it easier to offer these things? Yes and no. I think it's to offer these cost-wise in comparison. So I'm in the US, it's easier because it's not that much costly. Okay. Compared to because of the income and how much we're able to charge, right, in the US. But setting it up, honestly, it was a pain in the butt. Because we have to set up an entity in the Philippines and getting all the paperwork, going through all the government entities, and talking to all these different, like, I mean, even here, right? If you were to set up an HMO program, a 401k program, right, for your own employees, it's a pain in the butt. And I'm sure in Brazil, there's similar policies. So you have to talk to a lot of third parties to set all these things up. And then we also have a separate like HR program, a tool to track all of that, like a payroll system, separate payroll system, similar to Gusto, but in the Philippines. So it's like, is it easier to offer? Cost wise, yes. but the work-wise, no. And then the next question is, you're hiring Brazilians? Yes, I don't know Brazil, so I don't know the increase in cost, but I looked at our bottom line and it's somewhat similar. It's about a 21% increase, basically converting someone from a contractor to a W-2 equivalent for our Filipino hires. So you're increasing your bottom line expense by 21%. But that's a decision that I'm making as a business owner, that even though I'm paying 21% more, it's worth it. Okay. Is worth it for me. So any other countries? I've had really good luck, in the Philippines. See, I've heard some, have had luck maybe in even potentially in the Ukraine and for finding good talent. But I don't know about the benefits though. So, places in South America, are some potential good options or South Africa. Depending on some roles. But overall, the most because of my experience, the Philippines has been really good fit for me. Okay, so why a CSM is a game changer, really for clients, consistent follow-ups, improved satisfaction and retention, proactive problem solving. For the agency, better time for growth and innovation, better team collaboration and productivity, and elevated reputation, right, in the industry. Even now, whenever we work with an agency, and after a while, they're just so blown away. They're impressed. And I'm not, trying to flex here. Really, I mean, this is like, I want this for you, right? Like imagine like your clients like just saying, "Oh my God, you were nothing like the previous agency that I've ever worked with, or you're nothing like the previous social media manager or the marketer that I've ever worked with. You're like constantly on point. There's someone following up. Like I'm not surprised, or I'm always like in the loop. I know what the next steps are. I felt like you're always there guiding me, teaching me and showing me and helping my business grow. And so that is what we want to be able to provide, and the CSM can do that. What's my question for everyone, I guess, before we wrap up is, what's one big takeaway like, from this session?
I took a screenshot of the hiring order page. I like that one because I'm
Okay,
just myself right now. So I'm not ready to hire yet, but when I am, that's going to be helpful.
thank you.
I liked a lot of it, especially the holding clients accountable. Like I
Yeah.
think to constantly name what is or isn't being done, I feel like that would save so much headaches in the future.
Yeah. Funny you said that. So thank you, Eric. Chloe, you said need to stop hiring in the US. So here's the thing, right? Like, you want to hire the best talent, and for your agency. I'm not like the type of person where like, oh yeah, we should outsource everything. There's certain roles that it's better to hire locally. And the way I look at it is like, for example, in an agency perspective, or in person, like sales, like if they're going to networking events, they're meeting with people, they're building relationships, you need local, right? Because it just makes more sense. They understand the culture much more. Or anyone, maybe even a higher position. Not saying anyone in the Philippines can't do that, but let's say you need someone at a director or a executive like COO, CMO level, and speak in a very really understand like the market itself, and they're interacting with huge clients. You're in, like Fortune 1000 clients, and the communication needs to be like top notch, then at that point you need to pay top dollars to hire local. Okay. And another thing too, it's like let's say you have local editors or local talent. Now it's a great opportunity. I don't advocate like letting people go. I would say help them level up, right? Help them get it to a point where they're so talented now. They understand the culture. So start hiring offshore to support the individual that are onshore, and help them get promoted to a more of a leadership role, a team lead role. Okay. Uh, so oh yeah, thank you, Alicia, for sharing that. So yeah, go to and yeah, VR, AR, web apps. Yeah, very good. All right. Well, if nothing else, you can always reach out to me in the agency you Slack. Feel free to DM me if you have any questions, and if you have any suggestions or recommendations of what or questions of or requests of what other things that you would like me to cover. So I cover the topics of talent acquisition, team building, hiring, different roles, just like sessions like today. So if there's anything that is of interest to you or you need help with, you want me to do a session on, I'll be happy to do that. Okay. Well, anyways, thank you for your time, and everyone have a wonderful weekend. Take care.